Hello out there. You like Floyd roasts? This video is going to be for you if you do. Broke another A string. Pretty common for me at this point. I think I'm beating the crap out of it way too hard. We are going to change these out pretty quickly here. Got the locks off. How's it going out there? Okay. Beautiful. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Doing a super fast string change here on the Dragon V. Broke another A string. Gonna inspect the bridge pickup because I'm really curious what it is. I don't remember. I just put a distortion in this last week. Let me grab my precision. The art of the Floyd Rose is an art indeed. It's almost as complicated as playing the guitar itself. But if you follow along, you'll be able to change yours really quickly like I do. So I've got a few tricks that make this very, well, I don't want to say simple, but it makes it easier. How about that? Okay. Uh-oh. Coil thread came off. I swear, another day, another string change. Hey, Savan, how are you doing, my friend? It's good to see you on here. So I got about a solid 6-8 hours out of this change. That's not bad considering how much I'm beating the crap out of this thing. Good, you're doing good? Got some typos? It's all right, man. Not too bad, not too bad. I'm debating on, yeah. All right, let's take a look at this quick because I was really curious. I do not remember what pickup is in this. for the neck, and I really want to know because I might swap it out. Go ahead and grab a dish for this. Makes parts catching a little bit easier. Good. Glad you're doing good, my man. All right, we're gonna just take a peek at this quick, and then I'm gonna put this back on because I just want to see what it is. I don't remember. Let's see. Let's see what we got. It's a little wedged, so be careful. Don't want it to pull the paint. Boy, it's really in there tight. There we go. Kind of came jostling out quick. It's an SH4. All right. Write that down so I don't forget. Makes sense. Had the TB4 in the bridge. Jackson KB2, I think I saw this on Reverb. Beautiful. Hey, Pete Metal Man, how you doing, bro? This probably a different one than you saw on Reverb, if I had to guess. Unless you saw it a while ago. But all right. I was really curious what was in the neck here. Hey, dude. I just want to say, Pete, bro, you can really play, man. I like watching you, dude. It's really cool. When you're jamming over those backing tracks, I was like, well, this guy's going to town. This guy's going to town. Thank you, Vendura. It was going for like 10K on Reverb. Bro, this is not a 10K guitar. If it is, I hope it's not, because I plan to beat the crap out of it, just saying. It's already kind of started a little bit. But you know what? Whatever. I try not to get hung up on the value of things. It makes people possessive and very materialistic. The things are here to propel our ideas and what we want to do, I feel like. So if you need to beat the crap out of a nice guitar, that's what you need to do. Who cares? All right. I was really curious what that was. Well, if you guys have been here before, you know I want to save some time. We are living in a very materialistic world. I subbed. You're awesome, fam. Hey, thanks, Pete, man. Thank you very much, my friend. I really appreciate that. And Pete, I'll just say, dude, check out my album, Miasma, or everyone watching, if you'd like. I released it back in at the end of 2018. So it's been out there for a little while. And working on the next one as we speak, honestly. All right. What's great about these USA Jacksons is these fret guards actually fit perfectly on them because they're so very well handcrafted. Oh, hey Jay, just wanted to say hi. I didn't realize you're the one that said that comment. What we got over there? What's my little one? All right, so I tried to polish every string change. For me, these have got to last as long as they can, and I do not Look, doing fret dressings, it's not that bad, but it's a little bit of a pain because it can go on for several hours. I mean, I've done a lot of them, but I'd rather try to take care of my frets as much as I can between every string change and just try to preserve the life of them as long as I can. So that's kind of my goal by doing a nice polish like this every time. These really nice, soft, fluffy buggers are really good for this. This is going to be the boring part of the video for a minute. I got to wrap up my extension cord here. Before I do that, it's important to take just a cloth, just kind of give a nice little rub over it, because otherwise this stuff is going to go flying everywhere. And that's not fun. It's actually super annoying, as I'm sure you know. So I like to just get it flattened out, get it smeared all over, sort of. Just kind of smear it around. Set that right there. We're gonna go ahead and do this quick. Now, if you've watched me do this before, this is pretty hands-free work, and you just let this do its own thing. Just let it chill here. You don't need to push down. You don't need to try and, you know, slam this in there hard. Just let it do its thing. Peeps, make sure to hit the like button for our brother. Hey, dude, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. It's sold. I could not find it. I realized one day James Hetfield had a Jackson guitar, and I named it Kill Bon Jovi. It's excellent. But you do got to give Richie some respect. I mean, come on. He is a pretty good guitar player. He's not exactly a metal guy, but he's pretty good at what he does, right? Not that I'm a Bon Jovi fan, don't get me wrong here. I think everyone's heard the 80s songs. That's about it, right? Let me try to get this more, pull this up a little. There's some big puppies on this. Okay, I'm just holding it up on the edge a little so that it's kind of going like this at the edge of the buffer. Again, I'm not pushing down, just letting it sort of sit there naturally. And I like to just keep going until all the material is gone. Once all the material is gone, by that I mean the stuff that I put down, then it's really just polishing over and over. See, we're almost there. It goes pretty quick. I use this one because the speed's not crazy. If I go too fast, we'll actually start to melt these rubber bands, so I don't want to go too fast. He does do the job for Bon Jovi, man. I mean, he really does. For what they need. You know, it's like the dude that plays for, it's like the dude, oh look, see that's, now I just polished this and I only played this guitar for like I said, 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours. It's, the frets were completely crushed, I guess, or my hands were dirty. I don't know, but holy shit, it's a lot of residue. All right, we're gonna get this off. I was saying though, the guy for Billy Idol, he's another one, right? He's not like super complicated or super like technical, but for what he does for Billy Idol, oops, there goes my buffer fell right off. And that's fine, because you know what? I like to get stuff put away as we work through it. Or get that out of the way. Take this off, put this back. If you guys have any questions on your Floyds, let me know. In addition to being a guitar player, I am also a guitar repair guy slash luthier, I guess you could say, although I haven't really made my own guitar yet, so I'm hesitant to use that term, even though a lot of people would probably still call me that. But for me, it's a little bit bigger distinction. A little bit of residue on the bottom frets, but that's really it. Try and keep this clean. This is kind of a final polish on top of the polish. Flip this over. There you go, those look great. That took about 5-10 minutes. 5-10 minutes tops. Okay. The board, you know, I could oil the board. To be honest though, like I did a pretty good oiling on it last time. Just don't think it needs it. So I'm going to clean out the nut slot here. Okay, I like to get in between every one of these, just like that. Do it again with another clean piece. This is where all the drama comes from on these. All of these contact points. So everything goes to hell. So I clean them off and I re-lube them every time. I make sure that they're nice and fresh, ready to go. It's just like putting new oil in your car. It's what I try to think of it like. You know? This one went a little quicker than normal on that oil change. It certainly wasn't 3 months or 3,000 hours. We'll just try to equate that from miles, I guess, but maybe minutes. Maybe I hit 3,000 minutes. No, I didn't actually, never mind. That's bad math. All right, one more here. Oh, it is a damn good guitar. Nice, dude. You know, if you guys have any questions, just doing some changes on these Floyds here. Doing just a little visual inspection, you know. Definitely premature paint coming off on the low E in that saddle. I don't think it's warranted enough to take it out and try to sand it down or anything yet, but oops, something I'm observing that will definitely rear its ugly head again soon. Okay. Moving right along on this. We're going to apply, actually I'm going to wait on doing it right there, aren't I? Yep, gosh, I did that last time too. Just getting ahead of myself because I'm talking to you guys. I actually want to put the strings on before I put the lubricant on. And the reason I like to do that is because it's really critical that you do not get lubricant down in the saddle block area, in my opinion. You want that to be pretty free of stuff. So again, I recommend you guys buy one of these, okay? If you're gonna buy strings, buy the box. If you're replacing strings like I am, this is how you're gonna want to do it. Now I like to pull my strings through the ball end too. So that might be new for you. That might be a new thing for you if you're watching. I'm going to set that there. The way I like to do this is sort of the assembly line method, okay? Except we're going from station to station on the assembly line instead of moving it through the whole process. So if you can imagine what I just said, I'm going to get all the strings in, then I'm going to cut them all, then I'm going to have them all locked in, and And then we'll get them double locked in after we tune them. You want to turn these so that they come down straight. See that angle? You want it to be just like it's coiled around and tight, okay? Because you want to have the proper distance. Now, what I mean by that is really similar tension between the strings. And I achieve that by getting the same length on them through this method. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to keep blazing along here. Check the chat periodically. It would be, you know, YouTube needs to make a feature where like the chat can just sometimes talk or something. I think it would be cool. Okay. Got those all on. Let's cut them. Hey, what's up?
Are you sure?
I am. I'm going to say hi. Now you can see it's going to pull really nice, just like that. Those look really good. We're going to cut them all right here at about the fine tuner length. So, pull these all out this way now. Set them right there. We're going to start with Mr. E string. Pull them right to the edge of the fine tuner. We're going to cut that. We'll set that right here. I actually need to change my tip back to the 3mm. Okay. And we're going to do a double dip. Just want to go down. I like to go all the way down, pull it out, and make sure it went down as far as I want it to go down. All right. Stuff does get down in there, believe it or not. And sometimes it could be fragments of your block. You don't even know your block is crumbling, and it turns out it is. Now I'm not doing a super tight tighten yet. I am just getting these in. That was a good example there, where if I didn't back that block off, you would not have hit the bottom, even though it was out far enough to pull the string. Okay, we're gonna get this one on. Gonna cut it right at the fine tuner. Got nice depth. Lock her in. Going on to everybody's favorite, the G string. I've often thought about playing a wound G string on this. Go in and out. Get that tight enough so it's not going anywhere. Moving on to B. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going straight down. We came out on that one, looked good. Say it's like a 1/4 inch you get. Maybe a little more or less. I've never actually measured the distance it goes down into the saddle. I should. Curious now. It's probably a 1/4 inch. Okay, now the trick here, I've got them actually through the nut up there. There we go. Right in the center. Oops. There we go. Okay. Now, Same tension against the nut. This is key. Now before we put the lockers on, now that I have them in here, now I'm going to actually do the full tighten. I've got them all on. Again, I'm at the station in the factory is like I think of it. Do the full set at the same time with each step. Do these hand tight. Once it starts to resist, you're good. Okay? Don't be a baby about it, but don't be like super crazy about it either. These need to be tight enough to hold. You go too tight, you could crack the block. You could actually, what's going to happen more often than not is you're going to break the saddle in half, because the force of the block and the screw is oftentimes tougher than the saddle itself, especially on the most common Floyds, which are like specials or licensed by versions. They just don't use that heart of metal, and the screws are often tougher than the metal saddle itself. Okay, that feels really good. Let's get that down. All right, little lube on the saddle points here. Again, now that I got them on, I'm going to put some right where the string is going to touch. Now the reason I do it this way is because I do not want it to go down into that block. Not at all. Look at that. Just little dabs. I don't know if you can see that, but this is such a small amount. Such a small amount. That's about as much as you need for 2 saddles. Probably even less, honestly, because it kind of gets all over a little bit. But if you had some type of even more precision applicator than my little fuzzy brush stick, whatever you want to call it, you might have better results. Okay. Oops. We want to do a little up here as well. So I like to put a glob on this side and a glob on this side. Okay. We're going to smear this all around. Again, this is the other super sensitive contact point. And there's a couple reasons I like to do this. These things will go to hell quick from rust of the string, depending on how long you have strings on, I guess. And they dry out fast. Now, maybe your environment's not as dry as mine. This is a very dry environment where I am, especially right now this time of year. And so a lot of this will honestly be dry when I come back to it. And so the guitars have to be kind of set up with that in mind. And so I even go down into these screw holes because it gets so dry here sometimes that when I've undone these lockers, the force of that coming off and pushing against this as it turns has actually broken strings on me. So that's another reason that I do this. Not that it's, like an emergency or anything, but it's very, it's a little jarring when it happens. And you're gonna see, when you look at these close, you're gonna see spots where the paint's coming off, and those are the spots that you really wanna make sure you get good. Okay, once we got this all lubed up, we're going to reseat these strings, and we're going to tune them to the detuned state for the lift up. Let's just make sure we got these separate. Okay, everything's looking good. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, now the trick here is to get them loose and get them about 2 steps down from where they need to be. There's a reason for that. It's because I have this trem block on, okay? And it might honestly even be, no, 2 should do it. 2 steps down, we're gonna tune it 2 steps down. When we pull this trem block off, the natural tension of the springs and the guitar itself is going to pull this up, and those should be right about in tune. That's the way I like to do it. Once they're at that point, we're going to stretch them all out and do the fine tuning. Well, not the fine tuning, but the final tuning, and then any fine tuning that needs to happen. And since we're talking about fine tuners, it's always good to back these off to a nice healthy spot where you've got room in both directions. So I like to max them out back and then do, like, I don't know, just a couple turns in. Because if I need to just go down a little bit, it's not a big deal. I'd rather have room to go up, but I do like to have just a little room for down. It just makes the process easier. All right. Help the string get under there. I want it flabby. I want it flabby right now. If you just push down, you won't have any problem getting that coil. There you go. Push down, let it pull itself, coil naturally. There you go. Beautiful. Let's do this one. This one's gonna be a little trickier, of course. So I do have a tip for this. Floyd Rose sells these really cool little tuner or little devices to get inside the blocks right here, like when you need to wedge them out of the way or they're stuck or something. It works really good to turn a ball end between the nut and the base of the tuner here. So as this is coiling around, it's going to get this ball end in between the nut and just give it a light little twist. Get it right about there. You want to just push on the metal, the nut of the tuner, and the ball end up just a little bit. Just enough to get it around on itself. And this one I actually need to just back off of here because it's got so much pressure that I don't want to compromise the string. So I'm going to come back, give it a little less tension, and then help it up through the hump right here as we increase the tension. There we go. Beautiful. Just take your time with this because you don't want to break your string, okay? It can be painful and annoying. Just take your time. You get about a nice wrap or two on that. Once we get up to tension, it's going to get more. Okay. Do the B quick. Again, pull it so that the ball end is sticking up. Perfect. It'll help the string get under there. This one's actually kind of a little tight. There we go. And we're going to do the E. The E wants to give me the same problem as the G. So we're just going to deal with it right now. There we go. Now we're looking good. Got some nice loosey-goosey strings. Okay. Let's put the strings back. We're not going to need those. It's always good to clean up the workshop. Hey Joel, how you doing, dude? So I like to get everything put away quick that we don't need anymore. Including these precision drivers, honestly. They can go too. Pretty cool little StewMac kit. All right, I've got my lockers up here in the order I took them off. So I like to just put them in until you get very, very light resistance against the strings. Okay? Very, very light. Once they just don't turn anymore, just stop. And not hard at all, like very, very light. Very light, feather light, okay? You want enough room to turn them, but I don't want them to get off. I want them to be as close as they can be to the base of that nut so that I have, when I actually go ahead and lock it down, the tuning isn't going to jump that far. Because the tuning will jump. It's inevitable. It's part of owning a Floyd Rose. We can actually put this away too. For this step, all you really need is the Allen wrench. P-Mel, have you heard of guitar having EMGs 81 on the bridge as well as EMGs on the neck as a pair? I have heard of that. Speaking of Metallica, isn't that what James does, I think, or no? Or used to? So I tried that with distortions. I actually had 2 distortion bridges, and I put one here in the neck and the bridge. And it sounded like a neck pickup. I think more than anything, it's where it's sitting between the two, between like the spread. You know what a really cool test would be is to take a neck pickup and throw it in the bridge and see if it sounded more like a bridge pickup. Because I think when you throw so much gain on it like we do for the metal, right, kind of changes the way they act a little bit, or maybe not. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but changes the way they come through the amplifier. All right. So I'm using this really cool strobo tuner. So you can see these are all super detuned. So for E, we're going to want to take to about C sharp, right about there. The A is going to want to go to an F. It's really dancing between those two because it's so low. Okay. The D is going to need to go down to what, a B flat? So A sharp. The G, I want to bring to around an E. D sharp. Let's try that. The B needs to come to a solid G. And then this guy's finally going to come back to, heard that, to around a C. Let's just double check that. We have to C. A needs to go to, yeah, like a E, F. The D needs to come down to a B, about an A sharp actually. The G needs to come down to E. Actually, D sharp would be better. B is a G. This should be around the C. Okay, now, detune to C. So what's going to happen here is now we're going to actually put tension on it. And it should get it pretty close to where we want it to be. So I noticed right away we're a little low. And I can tell we're low because without even playing it, this is dipping down a little bit. So one of them's off. But let's see. Now you can see right there, pretty close to E. It's pretty close, a little high. It's probably the high strings that are off. My A's a little low. That up a little bit. Now as we increase the tension, these are all going to come down. So if I just put my thumb on it, as we get up here, you're going to see this restabilize a few times. Yeah, that didn't quite get up to where we wanted it to go. This one was way lower than I wanted it to be. So we're going to put that to E. Come back here. Now if you have a good setup on these, you have to keep doing this until it flattens out. These are just, they're going to keep detuning until they get to where they want to be. And you're going to go mad thinking there's something wrong with your guitar, but there's not, okay? The strings will stabilize without being stretched, okay? They'll go out of tune quick as shit if you play it, but they will stabilize. And that's what we're wanting to achieve right now, is a stabilization without stretching. We're really close. I can tell we're still off because, again, we're just a little bit under, and I'll show you quick. I feel what you're saying. My KB2 has it, and it's odd to me. What do you have, man? The neck and the... See that? We're just a little low yet. It's close. It's very close. Not quite. I love the KV2s, I just gotta say. I don't know if there's a better guitar. They're, for me anyways. I just love them. That up. And the A up. And this up. Almost there. I can still see it. I'd say it's descending at about a couple 64 7-inch in diameter. A few degrees might be the proper way to say that, actually. Oops. So close. We just want the tuning to stabilize before we stretch. Doing very, very minor adjustments each time now. It's getting close. You gotta remember, you're like bringing up a suspension bridge, is what I like to tell people. And so, as soon as you pull up one part of it, the other part's gonna get a little loose. You know, a little loosey-goosey, until they all get to the same tension. So imagine you're going across a canyon. Trying to get ropes across to keep a bridge up. You've got to be at the same tension. If you pull the left side, the right side's going to come flying up. So you have to anticipate this. Once they get to the same tension, they're not going to do that anymore. You're going to be able to walk right across the canyon. As you can see, that's actually stabilized. The A almost was. Your D and your G are always going to be a pain in the ass in this part. They're in the middle. That's not bad though. A little low. Still a little low. Let's look. Yeah, I mean, look, we're talking 1 degree, half a degree still down. So we got just a little bit. There's a couple that are just not at the tension yet. Oops. I recently got the KV7 Corey Bolu Jackson. Ooh, I actually saw that dude on one of your videos, man. Dude, that thing is sick looking. And I'm getting the Fishman open core installed, but they have to route out to make space for the pickups. Oh man, you don't like the blackouts that came with it, huh? I haven't tried blackouts yet. Is that the Dave Mustaine pickup? The blackouts? Or wait, that's like their EMG equivalent, right? Actually, isn't it? I have not played them. I only have one guitar with active pickups. I do like it a lot. I shouldn't even say pickups, it's just a pickup. Okay. Getting close. Yep, active pickups, they sound muddy. Got it. Wonder if there's anything you can do to it. Let's look at this. That's looking pretty good. There's a little bit of gravity pulling it down, what I'm seeing right now, which is normal. So what we're gonna do now, these are all about where I want them to be. Oh, they can come up a hair, I guess. Look at that. Let's come up a hair. Just a hair. Okay, now we're gonna stretch these out quick. So now for this, I like to push down and pull up. A lot of people like the string stretcher. I do have a string stretcher. I don't know. This is how I like to do it. It's how I've always done it. It works very well. You just gotta pretend you're bending the string with your index and your thumb. It's kind of like, just kind of squeeze them. And I try to do it over every fret. So I brought it down to a D sharp, low D sharp too. If you do that good, and you're really pulling these with your fingers. See, I'm gonna use more fingers because my index is starting to hurt a little bit. You should be able to get them stretched out really good. I like to take my other hand and push down like this. You can see that, and I'm sort of creating a nut. It's kind of what I like to think of it as. But it sort of creates a third tension point, right? Because it's kind of going, it's going to that, it's going up, and then it's going down again. So it kind of gets a nice little tension pull. That came down to a high D sharp, so not really as much as I would expect, but damn A string is like my arch nemesis right now, because I'm breaking them all the time. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Almost done. String change on the Dragon. If you're wondering what's in it, it's got a distortion, TB6, and in the neck, it's got an SH4. Okay. High D sharp, or C sharp, I mean rather. Move on to the G. Now these high ones, look, you gotta get them all. You really do. It sucks because it'll hurt your fingers. But my experience, if you do every one of these, it's a nice stretch. And not too far for it. Okay, on the B. Again, just kind of simulate a bend. You don't need to like go crazy, but just use your fingers like you'd be doing a bend and just put that much tension on it. That's what I try to do. Okay. Finally, we're going to do the E string. The reason I don't like the string stretcher is I notice every time after I use it, the string is so hot that like its diameter has thinned out or something, and then like as it sits, it actually goes back to its size or something. It's really weird. A is a hair low. There we go. E a hair down. Okay. Now, the next step is, when are you going live to play? I am not sure if we will today or not. We did a test yesterday on my my YouTube analytics says right that my audience was most active between 3 and 6 p.m. So we tried doing a stream between 3 and 6, and it was a total train wreck. I mean, I shouldn't say it was a total train wreck. It was a really fun time, but we didn't get a lot of views. So maybe tonight, I don't know. We'll see if I can get Ashley to come down and give me a hand. All right, now that we got that done, we're not done yet. Gravity is actually pulling this at 9.8 pounds per square foot. And so now that we have this up, the tuning has changed. Believe it or not, the tuning has changed. And so what we need to do now is readjust the tuning before we lock. So my E's come down just a hair. Let's give it a touch. A's come down just a hair, put touch on that. D just a little bit. G. B. E. Sounding really good. Not bad. Let's check it again after a little play. Came down a hair. Came down a little hair. Good. It's looking good. All right, now we're probably gonna have to go back and forth on lock. Man, the guitar is beautiful. Thank you, dude. Stretch the strings until it breaks. Well, not that far. New strings always sound so snappy. I know they do, man. I wish they lasted longer for me. Again, this is just like the saddles. Don't turn these too hard, okay? Once they start to push back, you should be good. Now I'm probably gonna have to do this a couple times. It's annoying. We'll see how close it is. So my E, it's rolling back. You can see that, it's rolling back pretty good. Doing this killed me. I hear you, dude. But if you follow my steps the way I just did it, you'll save yourself a lot of time. So honestly, the E's good, G's good, B's good, D's looking good. It's just the A and E are both a little hair low. I could use the fine tuners, but I suspect that as I bring these two up, we should be good on this. Just a touch. There we go. Now, if it needs any further adjustment, I will use the fine tuner most likely. Let's see. It's pretty freaking close. Give it a little touch there. It's good. I like to have them just a hair sharp. My environment is, not only is it dry, it's cold. It's probably 60 degrees down here in my shop. This is also, the other side of my shop is my studio. But yeah, it's pretty chilly. There we go. Whoops. My fingers are really cold too. Sounds good? Sounding good. Just got here. Did you start from scratch or replace one string at a time? I start from scratch, man. So every time I do a Floyd Rose change, I take all the strings off, put new ones on. Really depends how long you've been playing. Like these ones were on for 6 to 8 hours. So I could see some visible wear. I've been playing the snot out of it. And like those 6 to 8 hours were very intense thrash metal sessions. So it wasn't like I was just, you know, 6 to 8 hours, hey, you know, right? And so for that, you know, I do the whole thing. And if you know, dude, I'll have more videos like this because people seem to really appreciate it and like it. And I think like the Floyd Rose is probably one of the hardest guitars to change strings on. So, have you ever had a scenario where you tighten the nut and the tune goes from E to E flat? You think the note would go higher and not lower when you tighten the nut? Yes, I have. And I don't have a good answer for you why that happens, but that actually, so the other guitar, I'll just show you the other guitar I got to change strings on, which I don't think I'm going to do right now. Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure why it does that, Pete. This is my Carina. This is number 1. This is my baby. It's my 4th child, we'll just say. Even though it was born first. This one has that exact same problem you're talking about. Did I cut them all at once? No, I block the trem off with this kind of tool right here. Block it off like this. You can use a tongue suppressor too. And then I take all the strings off like this. So, I mean, for illustrative purposes, I could show you quick. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. But this is one I need to change the strings on too. But yes, Pete, to your point, this one does that all the time to me. It drives me nuts. I have to actually tune my E to like E sharp, and I have to tune my A to like A flat. And then, and I think it's this locker is what I think it is. You know, if I had to like just really start thinking about right now what the problem is, it's probably the surface of this. Or could be the surface of the nut. But I have to assume there's some type of irregularity there, you know, or in this one there's just a shit ton of wear going on too, I'm not gonna lie. Like I have cavities on this that I can feel with my fingertip. Cause this nut's been on there for a long time. I've seen this on your live. Gorgeous. I want to be like you when I grow up. Hey, bro, I think you're already grown up, aren't you? Well, you know, look, I've had this guitar for 20 years. This is one of my most favorite guitars. It is my favorite. It is an excellent guitar. I got it down in Florida. Had the dealer ship it up to me. $1,500 back in 2004. Yes, born in 76. I think that's how it's felt. Yeah, it is. You got it right, man. But so hey, real eyes, realize, real lies. Dude, that's actually pretty cool the way you did that. Real eyes, realize, real lies. Oh yeah, you down in Florida, Pete? Yeah, I got this at a dealer down there, and I had it shipped up here, way up to Wisconsin. And that's where it's been since, for the last 20 years. I had it refretted. It had really thin, I'll show you these frets too now, these frets are nuts. These frets are huge. They're the biggest jumbos that I could get. I mean, when I say they're jumbos, boy, they are jumbos. But they're stainless. Had them put on. You can see it's got a lot of beating going on from thrashing the crap out of it. It's got dents everywhere. probably hard to see. There's a really nasty dent right there. Some nasty ones there. Ugh. You can't, I don't know if I'll be able to show it to you. What's cool about the natural wood is it kind of hides the matting of the finish, but this is all like just matte at this point and worn away. You know, it's got the typical V-rash. Typical V-rash. These, so I had this done about, gosh, probably 15 years ago. And it's getting to the point I've had to do dressings 3 times on it. And I'm about to have to do another one because you can see that right there. It's just, it hasn't caused any issues yet. But yeah, it's definitely divoting down pretty good. It was $350. Okay, so the worst part, I shouldn't say the worst part, but here's its worst accident. It's really hard to see, but from here to here completely snapped off when it fell on the ground one time. And I had that all, before I learned how to do all this, I had a guy in town fix it for me. But he did an excellent job. I mean, yeah, you can see it, but it holds up. That's the main thing. So, yeah, it's got the Duncan distortions, hollow points, got these cool Q-part knobs. Qparts.com, they sell these really cool like tops for them. And then I put the telly switch on because it's big, and I find that little bugger is just really hard to use in between there. Been meaning to do that on all of them, just haven't gotten around to it yet. All right. Realize. What I was going to say, dude, is what I do at this point is I just get these all sort of detuned. Once this is blocked off, I take them all off. Get them back to a state of tension where it's about 2 or 4 degrees down from where they should be, 2 steps. And then I bring it back up to tune. So, all right. I just wanted to get one of those done. Put new streams like I do. Ball at the top. That's right, buddy. Well, it's honestly, you know, I learned that from Steve Vai's tech. Long time ago, I think it was a Guitar World article. And I was like, whoa. It's like, whoa, you can put the ball ends through the tuner? Like, blew my mind. I was like, what? What? It's one of those moments where you're like, man, I don't know what I'm doing on this guitar, do I? Let's see how far I get. I've been going at this for about just a little over an hour right now. People seem to enjoy the swing changes though. Now this one, I gotta be honest, what pisses me off about this one, and the reason I'm probably not going to go too in-depth on this one, I just don't have a lot of time, I don't think. Well, I can find out if I have time or not. It really depends on what's going on with my wife and kids. So this one, dude, this one I played for like 2 hours, and the A string broke again. 2 hours. And what I've noticed is that there's just a significant amount of wearing going on. And so what I'm going to do on this one, I've decided, is I'm actually going to take the Floyd off. I'm going to take the saddle out. And I've got some of these, I'll show them to you quick, these cords. It's Mitchell's cords. How are my cords? Where would that be? All right. So I'm probably not going to go to now as this is going to go on for a bit. But I've got these really cool abrasive cords. And what this is just like it says, it's like almost looks like the wick of a firework. Okay. You just pull it out, and there's different grits. And it allows you to basically take that piece. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this saddle off. I'm going to lock it in a vise. I'm going to take the block out, and I'm going to loop a piece through the hole over the top. And I'm going to basically, over that surface, I'm going to put the string right and just kind of gently, a few times, and go through the motions on all these different grits and sizes. And I'm hoping that that will fix my string break problem going on this saddle, because it's really starting to be annoying. And it's gotten worse, I've noticed. Now look, it could be me playing. I have a tendency to just slam my hand down on this when I'm playing, because I get too into it, I guess. So I'll at least get these strings off. I don't know if I'm going to go too in depth on that, but that's kind of my plan on this one. Needs a little maintenance at the moment with this saddle, because it's really irritating. And I mean, it makes sense. Look, I've probably done 100 string changes on this Floyd Rose over the last 5 years when I replaced it. I think I replaced it in 2019. So I guess it's going to be almost 6 years now. Yeah, the other thing is, see, I feel like there's something going on with the saddle, because this is the other issue, is every time the threads are getting caught with the hollow point and the strings get stuck in there really oddly. So I really need to inspect what's going on, because it's going to be hard to see. Just pull it like this. But this string actually has a flat section where you'd expect it to be hitting the block, and there's a portion of it that's actually not flattened at all, which means it's going somewhere underneath the saddle somehow. It's either going underneath the block or it's going down into the guitar somehow, and that's extremely problematic. So I do need to take that saddle off and inspect what's going on. Like I said, it's very possible I'm going to have to replace it. I'm not sure. I noticed maybe a month ago that when I was tightening a set of strings in, see, this one's doing the same thing. I'm kind of curious, man, is I've had to replace a few blocks on these. I noticed that the hollow points weren't 100% CNC'd to the existing blocks. And over time, because there's just a slight irregularity, the blocks actually began to disintegrate. They just crumble eventually. I'd be tightening it up and it just, the whole thing would just shatter inside the saddle. It's like, oh, okay. That was weird. But what I've deduced from inspecting this and replacing them all is that these hollow point threads are just a little bit bigger. A little bit bigger on this run. Maybe I got a bad batch. I don't know. So I've got some really old school locking tuners on this that actually have a flat head opening on the top, because you're supposed to like take a screwdriver and crank them down. But I find that just getting them at the right tension, just doing it by hand, is more than enough. But that's why I have to wind them like that around in the coil mode. And finally play that stab wound of Necrophagist. Hey man, how's it going? How you doing, Ayrton? I did not see that you said hi again. My bad, man. Yeah, bro, we'll try it again. Was that the one that was dropped down? I think it was, right? I've got a tom bridge guitar that we maybe I could detune for some fun stuff like that. Just taking a closer look at these frets, I definitely got a little bit of a G string. Definitely a nasty dent right there. I do not like that at all. It's not causing any problems yet, so I don't feel the need to redress it. But a nice polish is only going to, you know, prolong it as long as it can. So that's what I'm going to have to do on this as well. It's going to need a polish. Now, interestingly, if you ever get your frets redone on one of these, if you ever do have your frets redone, you got to make sure they're really careful with your inlays, because look what happened to mine when they redid the frets. As they pulled the fret out, they screwed up that part of the inlay. Came right out, came right out, came out, came out, came out. And so they had to use a super glue wood filler to fill that back in. A little bit cleaner up here. That's just some fabric. That one came out a little bit. So, you know, if you're going to do your own frets, just make sure you know what you're doing and be really careful. This one right here is about 20 years old. 22 years. This is a 1999. Great year. That's the year distorted figures were supposed to walk the streets. That was a Megadeth reference. Set the world afire. I didn't see any, well, I did see some distorted figures, but they all dissipated when Y2K didn't happen. All right. My age? You take a guess, man. You tell me. You take a guess. I'm curious how old you think I am. That's a lot more fun than me just telling you. Because then I can say, well, you know what? This dude said I was only this old. Clean out this spot. We'll see how far we get on this. Maybe I'll get them both done. No one's coming down to harass me that I need to stop doing this, so I should probably go see what's going on, though. That'd be the responsible thing to do, right? I do like to be a responsible guy. We're gonna get these saddles quick. 44, 42, 44. Oh, man. I play the drums and bass. I'm actually 42, so Arden, you get a prize, man. I don't know what it is. You win the no prize. Excelsior. You found the continuity error in the Marvel comic, right? Anybody? Dating myself with that, probably. Oh well. Yeah, dude, that's cool. You play drums and bass. I play a little bit of drums. I haven't played in a long time, not gonna lie. Like religiously played. But I can throw down some drum beats. You know, I can do 4/4, 3/4 all day long. You want to get into some crazy complex stuff? I will probably lose my shit on the drum kit. But you know, look, if you said, hey, we're gonna play some Metallica, I could pull it off on the drums. It wouldn't be perfect, but I could pull it off. Might be a couple missed beats. So got that cleaned up. So let's go ahead and pull it now. Let that come out. Set that back. Boy, is she dirty in there. A lot of nastiness in there. Careful not to turn your posts if you have them where you want them. Huh, this one's almost weird. Moving around a little bit. Could be part of my tuning instability. Huh. Actually curious why that's moving around so much compared to this side. A lot of nasty gunk in here. A lot of singing residue, as we like to call it. My inspiration is a Derek Roddy. I guess I'm not 100% who that is, bro. Is he from a guy from one of the new bands? Or an older band, maybe, and I just don't know the names of every member of the band? You know, try to keep these as clean as possible, and it's occurred to me as I'm doing this that this is one area that does not get cleaned very often, if ever, on some guitars, because this has just way more dust than I ever thought would be down there. It's kind of interesting, these old crevices. Huh. That looks pretty good. Do a little inspection here on the posts. I don't see any cracking anywhere. I do have another guitar where some of this wood material is actually cracking between the trem post and this wood just from hitting it so much, and it's a lot thinner than this. I should say that too. If you notice, this one actually bumps out right here. Let me just show you. He's a drummer from Serpents, Rise, Trauma to Hated, Trunk Story, more bands of death metal technique. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, I don't know if it's common to have that little section there like that. I feel like most of them probably just come all the way over and then down. And so on the other one I have, I think that's what probably the issue is, because there's definitely like some cracking right here on one of my other guitars. And what I did on that is a epoxy fill over with super glue. Seemed to work really good to stabilize it. Give me 1 minute here, guys. Be right back. I gotta check something out. All right, hey, back. All right, I'm gonna just wrap up really quickly on this one. I'm probably gonna come on later and show you guys how I fix this saddle, because like I said, I'm gonna take it out, we're gonna put it on the vise, and I've got these Mitchell's cords, these abrasive cords that I'm going to run through the housing over where the string sits in an attempt to smooth out this little imperfection here that's developed over the last few years. And I'm hoping that that's going to fix my A-string breakage problem. We'll just have to see what happens. But right now I'm going to run, everybody. I will be back later. I'm not sure when, but I will be back at some point today to wrap this up. I appreciate you all stopping by today. It's good to see you again. And maybe even later tonight we might be doing some music. We'll see what happens. So y'all have a good one. I'll see you around. RAIDER X out.